Welcome to the South Carolina High School Credential Ordering Supplemental Instructional Materials tutorial. Today's tutorial will cover types of supplemental instructional materials, ordering forms that include the South Carolina Department of Education's district ordering form, and a form that was created to assist districts in collecting instructional materials orders locally. Next, we will discuss what students can receive these materials. Then the ordering process will be covered along with the priority of the orders. We will take a dive into what the forms look like and close with relevant factors to consider and contacts for questions. First, let me start by saying that all materials on the state-adopted list are supplemental instructional materials for the South Carolina High School Credential coursework. For common language purposes, and for purposes for distinguishing between two different types of lists, we will refer to the one as supplemental instructional materials and the other as support instructional materials. Supplemental instructional materials are the ones that were reviewed by the panel and were recommended to supplement the majority of the credential coursework. These instructional materials are covered by the Office of Special Education Services federal funds. Support instructional materials are the instructional materials that were recommended by the review panel to supplement pieces of the credential coursework. And these instructional materials can be covered by the district's local funds. A comprehensive list can be found on the credential website, and for purposes of this tutorial in the South Carolina High School Credential Ordering Form, we will only be talking about the supplemental instructional materials. Ordering of the support materials are done directly between the district and R.L. Bryan. Now let's talk about the ordering of the supplemental instructional materials. There are two ordering forms available to districts. The high school ordering worksheet is not required, but has been created to assist districts in collecting ordering information from high schools to assist in completing the South Carolina Department of Education's district ordering form. This form is required if ordering supplemental instructional materials. Both are available on the credential website and can be found on the coursework page. So who can these orders be made for? First, these are only for students with IEPs in high schools. Additionally, the students have to be enrolled in a core replacement course, such as a South Carolina High School Credential course. If a student is enrolled in a South Carolina High School Credential course, but is not working towards the credential, then these materials can also be ordered for those students. For example, these instructional materials can be ordered for an 11th grader who, based on present levels, needs the course but is not eligible for the credential. The ordering process will go a little something like this. First, the high school completes the South Carolina High School Credential worksheet and sends to the district. Then, the district will review the submissions for accuracy and compile the high school orders and complete the district ordering form. From there, the Office of Special Education Services will review the submissions. This review will involve monitoring order requests by reviewing proportionate numbers to the overall district's child count. If the district exceeds the proportionate number of the estimated applicable students, then the Office of Special Education Services will follow up with that specific district. Once verified, the Office of Special Education Services will send to R.L. Bryan for processing. And finally, R.L. Bryan will process and send the instructional materials to the high school's textbook coordinator of record. The Office of Special Education Services will fulfill orders using the following criteria. This year, we will fulfill all 9th and 10th grade equivalent course orders. Therefore, all students enrolled in essential courses 1 and 2. So, even though the ordering form allows for all courses to be ordered, please only complete based on Essential Course 1 and 2 enrollment. In 2020-2021 school year, We will fulfill orders for essential courses 1, 2, and 3. And finally, all courses will be fulfilled from 2021 and beyond. Now let's take a look at what these forms look like. As previously mentioned, the high school worksheet form is something that was created to help you compile all the information you need to submit one district form. It is not required. Districts have two options for curricular selection. Some districts will elect to select the same curricula for all the high schools in the district. In this case, you would adapt the high school worksheet to match the district selection prior to sending it out. The other option is that districts may allow high schools to select their own curricula. In this case, the high school worksheet as is should be suffice to send out to the high schools. Either way, the worksheet was created for you. So if it needs to be revised to meet your needs, please feel free to adapt it. There are two main sections to the worksheet. The first part is for the high school to input their information, and the second part is for the high school to choose their course selection. Let's take a closer look at the high school worksheet. As you can see, first the worksheet provides some directions that includes emailing the information to the special education director. If you use this worksheet, be sure to change out the fake email address for yours. It is also recommended that the school textbook coordinator, in collaboration with the special education lead teacher, complete this together. So you will see mention of that in the worksheet. And there is a link to the supplemental instructional materials information, such as what the teacher and the student packages include, as well as vendor contact information. The second section allows the person completing the form to make a choice per course and then include order numbers for teachers and students. Now let's take a deeper dive into the required form, the South Carolina Department of Education's district ordering form. But before we do that, let's talk a little bit about some logic. Within the form, you will see that all selections will be determined from the ELA selection made by the district. There are also notes throughout, but to highlight, if the district or school selects Achieve 3000, this license covers all the essentials of English, science, social studies courses, and the first 3 of the employability education courses. Finally, there are 3 essentials of math curricula option combinations. Number 1, attainment for the first 2 courses, Spider for Math 3 and Attainment for Math 4. The second option is Trans Math for Essentials of Math 1 through 3 and Attainment for Math 4. And the third is Spider, which supplements all 4 math courses. The South Carolina Department of Education's district ordering form is broken up into 4 main sections. Section 1 is for district and high school information. Then you have district contact information. Selection by courses are then made, and finally the special education director or designee will need to check that they agree with an assurance statement that reads something like this. I assure that these materials are only for students that are enrolled in high school special education core replacement courses, such as the South Carolina High School Credential. Now let's take a journey into the district ordering form. Wow, so here we are, the Special Education Supplemental Instructional Materials District Ordering Form. On the first page, you're simply going to input the district and the name of the high school in which you're ordering for. For simulation purposes, I've just started with the top of the district list, which is Abbeville County District. So we're going to get some orders for Abbeville High School. The second page is just going to be the district contact information. Should the Office of Special Education Services have any questions, they need to know who to contact with those questions. That is the information in which you're going to put in this section. As previously mentioned, your forms are going to be based on what you select for the English section of the form. So I'm going to actually go through both examples. The first example is going to be selection of language live. You input how many teacher packages you need for level 1 and how many students you have enrolled for level 1 as well. Level 2, same thing. Next, we have our Essentials of Math 1 through 4. As previously mentioned, you have 3 options. For purposes of this simulation, we're just going to select the first option and enter how many teachers are teaching Essentials of Math 1, how many students you have enrolled, and you're going to do the same thing for your Access Algebra for Essentials of Math 2. For Essentials of Math 3, I currently don't have any teachers teaching that or students enrolled, and the same thing for Essentials of Math 4. So I'm going to move on to my next courses, which brings me to the Essentials of Science 1 through 2. Since we didn't select Achieve 3000 in the English section, then the only option we have for Essentials of Science 1 and 2 would be your Spider Learning. So I'm going to input the number of teachers that I have teaching that course or courses, as well as the number of students in which I have enrolled. I do want to bring your attention to this hyperlink. This document is the same document that was referenced in the presentation prior to coming into the form. It is a list of all the state-adopted supplemental instructional materials. It not only is a list, but it also provides what comes with each teacher package and what comes with each student package, as well as vendor contact information should you have any questions related to the curriculum. For Essentials of Social Studies 1 through 2, I'm going to do the same thing that I did for science and input my number of teachers that are teaching these courses and the number of students that are enrolled in these courses. The last courses that we're going to cover are Employability Education 1 through 4. And again, since Achieve 3000 was not selected in the English section, I'm going to be ordering our pre-ETCH transition packages. So for Employability Education 1, for example purposes, I've identified 2 teachers teaching this course and 4 students enrolled. Employability Education 2, 1 teacher and 7 enrolled. And again, 0 teachers and 0 students for the Employability Education 3 and 4. The final page is the assurance statement. By click and agree, you are agreeing that you are either the special education director or a designee that has reviewed and done due diligence of class enrollment to ensure that the only materials that are being ordered are for those students enrolled in the South Carolina High School Credential Courses core replacement courses. And then you simply submit your form. But prior to us submitting our form, let's look at our other example. So again, we're going to identify the name of our district, the name of our high school, the person that we need to contact should the Office of Special Education Services has any questions. And then for this example, we're going to select Achieve 3000, which comes with the Empower Pro as well as the Empower Boost. I'm simply going to input how many teacher licenses I need and how many students I have enrolled in these courses. Keep in mind, these licenses will cover Englishes 1 through 2, Sciences 1 through 2, Social Studies 1 through 2, and Employability Education 1 through 2. For my Essentials of Math 1 through 4, I'm just going to select my second option. With my second option, we've got Trans Math, So I'm going to input how many teachers are teaching Essentials of Math 1 and how many student materials we need. Now you're going to have to do this based on levels, and we'll talk about that prior to the end of this tutorial. But for right now, just input how many teachers you have teaching level 1, how many students you have in level 1, how many teachers are teaching level 2, how many students are in level 2, and how many teachers are teaching level 3, and how many students you have in level 3. And you would do this for each Essentials of Math course. For employability education, Achieve 3000 covers employability education 1 through 3. So for employability education 4, you're going to need to input how many teachers are teaching that course as well as students taking that course. And we actually have some teachers teaching it. However, because this is a course that should not be utilized at this moment in time, because the credential started with our 9th graders of our 18-19 years, so we really should only have 2 years worth of coursework. I'm going to change those back to zeros. And then finally, your assurance statement. I'm going to go ahead and click Submit Form so you can see what pops up afterwards. You'll see a screen that says, "Thank you, the form has been submitted," and then the fine writing says, "If you would like to complete the order form for another high school, please click here to be taken to the start of the form." So essentially, if you are a district that has one high school, you will be submitting one form. If you are a district that has many high schools, you're going to be submitting many forms. Wow, what a journey! We hope seeing it in action helps to understand the logic and how to successfully complete the South Carolina Department of Education's district order form. Before we part, let's discuss a few other relevant factors. Number 1, if your district or high school is selecting any Voyager products such as Language Live or TransMath, student levels are determined by administering placement tests. We are asking districts to make an educated guess on student levels and to submit those numbers. In order to assist with these determinations, Voyager has provided placement charts which are hyperlinked on the Supplemental Instructional Materials Information document. And if you need any further assistance, please do not hesitate to contact the representative. Number 2, once an order is placed, if you have any transfer students or just student growth in general, or let's say you're just not ready to order at this time. When you are ready to order, or if you need to place another order, simply use this same form to do so. Number 3, inventory of all procured supplemental instructional materials will need to be conducted at the local level. Please follow your district's policies and procedures related to inventory. If you have any questions about the ordering process, please feel free to reach out to either the Office of Special Education Services or the Office of Instructional Materials. For questions related to the South Carolina High School Credential, be sure to visit the website. Read the Frequently Asked Questions document. If your question is not answered there, use the inquiry form by clicking to ask a question. And finally, you can always request technical assistance. The South Carolina Department of Education and our partners thank you for all you do to support students with disabilities and their families. And we look forward to seeing all of our students reach their full potential as we stand united in growing our future.